All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Makakwadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples towards younger brothers. And peace and blessings, salutations to the hopeful lake out there pushing his word and truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful lake, the believers, the listeners who have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Bashim Al Shai. And what I want to get into today is going into the book of Proverbs, the third chapter, going into how, the Heavenly Father, through Yahweh Shai is constantly correcting us, for our benefit. Correction is for our benefit. Okay, and he's correcting us into a rulership. You see? You gotta understand what's happening. One of the things, as the scriptures say, matter of fact, let me get this in Proverbs, the fourth chapter, and then we go back into it. Proverbs 4:7, it says, wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore get wisdom, and with all thy getting, get understanding. So wisdom is the principal thing. Okay? So it's it's vital to accumulate wisdom. But as we accumulate this wisdom, we begin to understand, okay, why we're getting this wisdom. Okay, we're understanding what this wisdom really means. Okay, so as we, accumulate this wisdom and get this understanding, all right, we begin, as we accumulate this wisdom, we begin to understand why we're getting this wisdom, what the Lord is doing. You see, as we mature in the faith, we understand the purpose of everything that's happening, okay, within the ministry, man. Okay, so the correction that comes from Yahweh Bashim Al Shai is rooted in love. Okay, and we come from a culture, dealing with nigga culture where correction is you hating on me. Correction is you jealous. Okay, or some crazy shit. You see, but when you go into our culture, our customs, correction is love. You correct those who you love. You see, so when you go into Proverbs 3 and 11, it says, my son, don't reject the Lord's discipline and don't be upset when he corrects you. And that's another thing, discipline is mocked in this society, especially amongst niggas. You eat a certain way, you live a certain way. You got certain principles and standards. That's mockery amongst a nigga, but that's our custom. That's our culture. That's who we are as a people. That's how we live. And see, we're coming back to being Israelites. The Lord created Israelites to rule the world. That's why he gave Israelites a certain etiquette, a certain discipline, a certain standard. Okay? Balance, modesty. You see? Integrity. All these qualities of who we are as a people. Okay? And we fell from that. You see? So as we getting back this wisdom, we're getting back to who we really are, who we was created to be. See, now we're becoming who we're supposed to be. In Yahweh Bashim Al Shai. You see, a nigga is an Edomite experiment. The nigga woman is an Edomite experiment. Okay, that's why they're not compatible with people that's with normal. Okay, that's a lab project. You see, so the Lord, is bringing us back to our true essence as Israelites. Okay, and it's through correction. Because we was cultivated to be anti-Messiah in this society. Okay, this correction is making us pro Yahweh Shai, compatible with Yahweh Shai. Okay, and it says, my child, don't reject the Lord's discipline and don't be upset when he corrects you. For the correction, or I said, for the Lord corrects those who, he loves, just as a father corrects a child in whom he delights. Okay, and it's all about, an end game. We always get this. It's a bigger picture. You see? So the Lord deals with us in a particular way. He'll correct us by causing something to happen. He'll correct us, through, other brothers. There's certain, avenues of correction, but it's all of Yahweh Bashim Shai, and it's because He delights in us. Okay? And this is why the Lord doesn't have us wasting time, all right, on people that don't get it. That means the Lord not dealing with them. He's not correcting them. Okay? The Spirit ain't on them to take the correction of the scriptures. Well, the Lord not dealing. He wants them to be out there getting worse for judgment. Okay? But those who He delight in, okay, who He has intentions, all right, for rulership, well, He continues to correct them and chasten them, you know? So you go to Sirach 30:1, and say, He that loveth his son, causing him oft to feel the ride, that he may have joy of him in the end. You know? So we got to look at everything that happens, you know, certain setbacks, you know, even certain betrayals and letdowns and, you know, certain things that happen, you know, the Lord calls us to, you know, certain things that happen to expose something within us so we can make the correction, you know? So whether we, you know, have to go into counsel, you know, brothers have to, you know, counsel us, or whether, all right, the Lord calls something to happen to expose something in us, all right, a correction got to be made, an adjustment got to be made, you see? So we in the time now, all right, of the Lord, you know, He's finishing off His product, you know? Just why Jacob's trouble, the straight gate is going to be the Lord. For the elect, it's going to be the Lord finishing off His product, you know, perfecting our faith. You see, our faith got to be perfected. You see? And our conduct is continually, you know, becoming pleasing, all right, as we make the adjustments in righteousness, man. Okay? So reading on, let's go back to Proverbs 3 and 14. It says, For wisdom is more profitable than silver, and her wages are better than gold. Wisdom is more precious than rubies. Nothing you desire can compare with her. You know, and like I say, we come from a society that value material things, you know, but not wisdom. You see? Because wisdom comes before everything, because it takes wisdom to manage anything that we can get materialistic, you know, to really use it to its efficiency. Okay, it takes wisdom. So you can gain material things without wisdom, okay, and destroy yourself. All right, you look at our people, you know, who have, who got the most money, okay, but they don't have this wisdom. All right, and they linked themselves to the devil and destroyed themselves and destroyed millions of their people through their influence. That's not wisdom. That's not a trade-off. You giving me $100 million for me to go ruin the next 2 or 3 generations of my people. That's not wise. Okay, that's not true wisdom. You see? So now that we understand true wisdom, now we understand that it's about, all right, the earth having a righteous rulership. Okay? And then there's so much wisdom within the earth to run the earth, you know, which we're going to get, you know, we tap into those things. Okay? But the earth needs to be ran in wisdom. Okay? Then you can enjoy, you know, the resources, the wealth, the abundance, you know, family. You can enjoy these things. Okay? But without wisdom, okay, these things are corrupted. Okay? They begin to work against you. You see? So wisdom is the chief thing. Even when you go to King Solomon, all right, the richest man, the richest king to ever live. Okay? And you go into Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7. Wisdom of Solomon 7:7 said, Wherefore I prayed, and understanding was given me. I called upon the Most High, and the spirit of wisdom came to me. I prefer her before scepters and thrones, and esteem riches nothing in comparison of her. Neither compare I All right, neither compare I unto her any precious stone, because all gold in respect of her is as little sand, and silver shall be counted as clay before her. I love her above health and beauty, and chose to have her instead of light, for the light that cometh, all right, from her never goeth out, because true wisdom is immortality. You know, the wisdom is that's what I'm saying. We're being corrected, okay, to be immortal rulers. We gotta think about that. You know, you can be corrected and feel some type of way. The Lord can cause something to happen. You know, you have this why me spirit, but then look at, check our reaction, man. Whenever we go through something, when unexpected things and setbacks and betrayals and disappointments, or, you know, certain things happen, you know, we have to play back our reaction. Like, dang, how did I respond? What my response was like, you know, because that's what the Lord is drawing out. So you have these things that we go through, okay, that the Lord is correcting us. You know, brother pull you to the side, you know, tell us by ourselves in certain things, man. We gotta listen to the correction, man. You see, that's the Lord correcting you through men, okay? And this correction is for us to be immortal rulers. We're being corrected on the path to being immortal rulers, man. Okay, so we have to really understand what the Lord is doing. What is this process we're going through? Okay, it says all good things together came to me with her, and innumerable riches in her hands, innumerable riches in her hands, and I rejoiced in them all, because wisdom goeth before them. I knew not that she was the mother of them. Okay, so wisdom goeth before all these things. And she said wisdom was the mother of them, because wisdom is going to birth these things. Okay, everything that we desire as men, because we men, we got desire. Okay, we got things that we want. Okay, but we have to be perfected through this chastening, through this correction. Then these things are going to come to us. You see, we're not going to have to chase anything. We should get out that mode now. We're not chasing nothing but these thrones. You know, everything else going to come to us, man. You see, that's what we're working towards when things flow to us. Okay, all our desires are going to flow to us, man. Okay, we're going to have the wisdom to manage it, the discipline, you know, to deal and not destroy ourselves, man. So let's Proverbs 3 and start at 15 again. It says, wisdom is more precious than rubies. Nothing you desire can compare with her. She offers you long life in her right hand, and riches and honor in her left. You see? So we're getting this wisdom to obtain immortality. And then you're going to get the honor and riches, the actual wealth, man. It's going to be light work. You know, the things that we desire, you know, women. And then we understand what wisdom, women, is for the sake of, all right, enterprising, all right, families, man. Okay? Of course, there's a, you know, pleasure that comes with that. You see? That's by default. Okay? But ultimately, their purpose is to enterprise, okay, the nation, to multiply the nation, okay, and maintain that nation. You see? So, yeah, just wanted to get into that, you know, just reading Proverbs, the 3rd chapter. Lord will, you brothers, all right, and you sisters edified. Till next time, I say shalom, kwam yashala, baba soon, shalom.